The Indigo Jackal. Far, far away, under a sky that was painted in the colors of evening, a soft amber fading into violet, there was a forest that stretched more further than the eye could see. Its trees stood like quiet guardians, their leaves whispering secrets to one another in the warm breath of the wind. Somewhere among the shadows and the dappled pools of moonlight lived a jackal. His fur was the color of dry grass and his eyes as bright as gold coins. He was very quick and he was very clever, but the jackal was always hungry. And he always had to be careful because the forest and the village, could be a little bit dangerous. One warm evening, when the moon climbed over the treetops, the jackal heard the sound he feared the most, the sharp barking of the village dogs. They had caught his scent. The night air filled with their yaps and their paws drummed against the earth like a storm approaching. He had no choice. The jackal ran. Through the tall grass and over the roots, all of the stones deeper and deeper into the forest, his heart pounded. He saw a village and he darted into it, hoping to lose them in the narrow lanes, and there in his panic he stumbled into a small courtyard where a great clay vat stood, brimming with a strange, glistening liquid. Before he could stop himself, he leapt inside. The cool liquid began to close around him. It smelled faintly of crushed flowers and rain-soaked earth. When he clambered out, gasping, the barking was gone. Luckily, the dogs had lost his trail. But something had changed. You see, in the soft light of the moon, the jackal's fur began to shimmer in shades of a deep blue, like twilight itself had wrapped around him. Drops of indigo began to roll down his legs, staining the dust beneath him. He turned his head this way and that, watching the colors ripple along his back. When he went back, the forest creatures had never seen such a thing. When he returned amongst the trees, the deer stopped in mid-step. The rabbits froze. Even the wise old owl turned her head to look at him a little bit more closely. Whispers began to rustle from branch to branch. Who is this? Is it a spirit? Perhaps is it some kind of god? The jackal, hearing the rumors and feeling the weight of their eyes, stood up a little bit taller. His voice was calm and measured. "I am sent from the heavens," he said. "I have been chosen to bring peace to this forest. If you follow me, I will keep you safe." And the forest animals, well, they believed him. They bowed down their heads. They brought him fruit and fresh water from the stream. The monkeys groomed him, and the elephants cleared paths for him. And at night they all gathered around to hear his gentle and deep-voiced instructions. Days had passed, and the jackal no longer hunted. All of his meals were brought to him on beds of leaves. His once hungry belly was full, and the little den that he called home was replaced by a soft hollow lined with moss and feathers. But the truth has a way of finding the surface. One night, when the moon was full and the air was cool, a pack of wild jackals wandered near to the edge of the forest. Their voices rose in a long, mournful howl, a sound as old as the world, and a sound that called to something very deep within the blue jackal's heart. You see, he had not heard from his kind in many nights. And before he could stop himself, he threw back his head and he howled out an answer. The sound cut through the stillness. The deer gasped. The rabbits began to tremble. The wise old owl blinked slowly, and the other animals looked at one another and they said, "That voice." "That voice," whispered the fox. That's not the voice of a god," murmured the boar. "That is the voice of a jackal." And in that moment, the shimmering veil of the indigo dye could no longer hide the truth. The forest stirred with murmurs that grew into growls. The animals turned away. The monkeys stopped bringing their fruit, and now the elephants began to block up the paths. And so the jackal slipped away into the night, the moonlit catching the threads of fading blue in his fur. He returned to the life he had once always known, quick and clever, sometimes hungry, sometimes lucky, but never again tempted by the colors of another. And if you listen on a quiet night, you might just hear him moving through the long grass, under the same watchful moon, his fur now the color of earth and shadow, just as it was meant to be. For in the end, the forest always knows what is real. And so do we.